Hi, hey, and all those other greetings, Spade Adventures. Welcome back to Spade Gals Productions Game Boxing Channel with me, Jake Spins, who's also from Spade Gals Original, with Girl Cyclones, Quincore, Florlai, and vlogs, as well as art videos. And today we have another unboxing for all of you guys to enjoy. It's another Sonic GE unboxing, and if you don't know, recently, right before, just an inch before or after GE came back, bootleg showed up. Now, if you don't know what a bootleg is, basically think of some sort of an item, specifically a plush or a figure. They can be, basically a bootleg is a copy of that they're trying to sell as the original. Some can be very good, with only a few minute details showing it as fake and false. Whereas other ones, that's not the case. They could just be completely flawed. Such as some of the good old classics like the weirdly colored Sonic Obama backpack. Yeah, somebody made that. And just so many others. If you want to know more about bootlegs, I definitely recommend Pat Mac going to him, because he did a whole like 40-minute video on that subject. But why are we talking about this? Well, the GE plush that we're going to be talking about today and unboxing is actually one that started the GE bootleg line. There are a few different ones, being, you know, as far as I know, Werehog and Supersonic that are bootlegged. I've also seen Blaze. Very weird combination, but the one that started off, believe it or not, is the Werehog. Now, the reason why this is super important is because GE is re-releasing most, or at least all, of their plush. But the thing is, when Sonic Unleashed released as a game, that's when the Werehog merchandise came out, and Werehog hasn't really been relevant since that time. And granted, you could make the argument of them making Chaos plush. And while I get that, that's fair, I feel like Chaos is just well more rounded and liked by fans, and there's not a lot of merchandise of him, which is why he does have a likelihood of coming back, as well as his recent appearance in Sonic Forces. Like it or hate it, he was in the game. But Werehog, his most recent appearance was basically Sonic Runners, and before that, Sonic Unleashed. So it's very unlikely that this guy will get a re-release, which is why the bootlegs all started off as the Werehog, because there needs to be demand, and people are saying, hey, here's a cheap Werehog, I'm going to buy it. I did fall prey to this right as it happened. But the thing is, I sent it back, I corrected myself, and I looked for ages and ages trying to figure out what other than the tag makes it not bootleg. So I decided to go to a few unboxing videos, look at a few details, and I'm going to tell you guys what I noticed in those videos that make me feel confident that I have a real one. If I, by some chance, don't have a real one, please let me know. Not that I'd be able to return it. I mean, it was $50, but that also doesn't mean too much. But just please let me know if I have any information wrong, and I will make sure to let you guys know in the future if I do, and it'll hopefully be in the comments and stuff. But anyway, though, let's take a look at the good old Werehog. Whoosh! As I said, first appearing in Sonic Unleashed, I believe in 2009, 2008. The Werehog was a very interesting gimmick because it basically brought a beat-em-up style to Sonic in the nighttime. this was basically divided by nighttime stages where Sonic became the Werehog, and daytime stages where you got the general modern Sonic gameplay that you have more or less today, which also isn't 100% true because even though Unleashed was the first 3D Sonic game to have boost gameplay, its style is more reminiscent of the adventure games. It's a little more 3D, but are there 2D sections? Okay, it's been way too long. The Wii game, however, is very different from the Xbox game. I've played both, and I can tell you that they're different. I just don't remember exactly how different. But one thing I can tell you is that I completely missed out on a whole entire area in my childhood. That's right. In the Xbox version, there's a whole entire city area that doesn't even show up in the Wii version. They're two completely different games, just like how Sonic Colors is for the DS and the Wii, which I always found interesting and weird, and they did that with Lost World, and then it kind of just cut off. It was strange. Why Sega? I don't know. But that's what they decided to do. Anyway, though, let's look at the Werehog. First off, I'm going to show off the tag really quick, because one thing that I've found out is that, and this is what makes me skeptical. I just want to put that out there, is the tag. Because I don't have any solid concrete evidence what this tag is supposed to look like. But the bootleg ones have a tag very similar to this. I believe it's actually a shiny tag. It's in Japanese, and all of them seem to have a yellow sticker across the tag, which again, very strange. With this plush, though, you have very, very accurate type of representation here. The spikes could probably be a little longer, but the arms are definitely huge. Like on the Werehog, it's surprising they were able to make a plush like this, because seriously, like if you modern day would have tried to make a plush like this and been like, here's the arms, they're basically the size of the head. Like with these two combined, you have more fluff than like the whole torso and legs, and you basically have almost as much as the head. But no, they did that, and I appreciated it. Does kind of remind me of that SpongeBob episode where he has like the inflatable muscles. You know, they just look like they're about to pop. And the Werehog never really looked like that to me, but I'm just now realizing that. It also has these almost flame-like, biker flame-like things on his wrists, being more so tufts of fur, and they do jolt out a little bit. It does come off across a little bit strange, but I feel like this is the best they could have done to represent this at the time, because had you gone the Blaze route and actually done the whole thing of making it puffy and furry, that much fur may have looked a little strange. You could have also made it more 3D, but again, you have to mass produce these plush, so that's something that you generally wouldn't want to do. You also have the flat ears, which I'm okay with this because they are on the sides, so it's not really the biggest deal. And actually, this makes a lot more sense because in the artwork here, I'm so glad I have a reference because this is so nice. But in here, the ears are actually flat, so that's a really nice thing. The spikes in the back, right here, these guys, these are more of like a plastic thing. The plush itself, I should say, is actually really nice and soft. But these plastic things right here, it's actually a really, really nice look. It gives a little bit of a shine to the plush as well. And unless it's one of those materials that ages very badly, like on the Adventure Gamma, I feel like this is a pretty good material. When does it say what this was made? 2014? Really? That's interesting. thought this was made alongside... I'll have to look that up. I have no idea. One thing I do find weird about this plush, though, is that the nails, like, this part just seems a little bit off to me with that gray felt. So there's just, as I said, there's a few things that I'm just, like, a little bit like, But this plush is a few years old, so it's possible that these were connected just so that they would be one set piece for the felt, and then they would just cut somehow. These are flat, so that also does lead me to believe that is actually a pretty reliable theory. It's one of the weirdest parts about having to do a Werehog plush, though, because with the hands for the plush, they do this very, like, sewed static type of thing, but then it's like claws. And they have to do it. It's because it's also Sonic's bare hand. This is also the only time we've ever really seen Sonic's bare hand, except for the Sonic movie. Yeah, I made the mistake of looking on Twitter again, and there was another leak, and it just completely just made me, like, blah. I should talk about the shoes, though. The bottom is actually fairly soft, fairly nice and plump, and you've got these little torn bits on the socks, which I never really paid that much attention to, but that is fairly accurate to the actual art, which is pretty nice and cool. Here's another mention of something that you should look for the actual legitimate plush. Every bootleg, for some reason, for the spikes, that is the key topic here. The spikes right here, this is, as far as I'm aware, this is what you want to look for. Again, I used Matt Pack's Unleashed or Werehog video as a reference so that I could know. I keep accidentally shouting him out this video. But here's the thing. Through looking at that as a reference, I could notice that the shoes were triangles. So I went off that, and I had noticed in all of the bootlegs, on the bottom, it actually looks better. Weirdly enough, but keep in mind, these were made in 2 separate years, so... And this is also supposed to be mass-produced, so you have to be a little more realistic, whereas triangles are more realistic. What's not as realistic for a mass-produced plush is round circles with little shines to represent the spikes on the bottom. They didn't do, like, popping out spikes, because that would have been a lot of work. But it is something that is definitely interesting when looking at it. I'm not sure about this last one that I noticed, but I think that the spikes were actually flatter. But looking at this now, they don't look too puffed up, but they don't look too thin either. So there's that. The plush, though, like everything, nose, everything is very nicely stuffed. The back actually kind of jolts out, which is another thing that I never noticed about this guy. Just like his arms. Whoosh. Sorry, he doesn't have stretch arms. I would try, but I would basically rip his arm off, and nobody needs to see that. We want to keep monetized here. So, also, I care for you, Werehog. So, I am not going to hurt you. You're welcome. His muzzle is a nice blue, where the rest of the plush is. And the reason I'm mentioning the muzzle is mostly because he actually has a full mouth around. This is something that looks very bizarre on basically any Sonic character, any Sonic plush. But the Werehog, it actually looks nice. And how they got away with that and how they actually made it look nice is pretty impressive. You might not be able to... Oh, you can tell. He does have fangs as well. And the full mouth, it is a little harder to see because it's kind of very close to the chest. So it kind of just looks like he has two different side mouths. But I can assure you, that is one mouth. This is no magic trick here. Something else to note about the Werehog, though, is that he does have green eyes just like Sonic. Unlike other forms of Sonic, He keeps the same eye color, so keep that in mind. Yeah, and I guess the only other thing I haven't really mentioned is his brow. That pops out a lot. I mean, that is what makes him look angry, so it makes sense. He doesn't look as angry as in the picture, but honestly, I feel like that goes in the Plush's favor. The last thing I will say, though, is when I was looking at reviews, there was somebody who posted a review saying that their daughter really wanted a Werehog plush. I think he called her his princess or something. She really wanted a Werehog plush, and she cuddled with it, she slept with it, which is interesting because the Werehog isn't a very, like, plushy, cuddly type of character, but alright. And he said, like, in a week it kind of just fell apart. So, these are definitely collector's plush. That is 100% sure. For sure. Anyway, though, that's going to end it off for this episode. It was a little more information-based, which hopefully you guys are okay with. But, Werehog. We have finally done it. I also realized you can make him T-pose. T-pose. He is me. The Werehog T-posing is just me, though. This is actually my new shirt. T-posing Werehog. But yeah, that's going to end it off for this video. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, share this out with everyone known love, brother, mother, sister, father, iguana. And I hope to see you guys in the next episode of whatever the heck we're doing. Keep it safe. Whoosh. Did that work like the stretch arm thing? Oh, that's unfortunate. Alright, well, how about you just, like, head bash the camera or something? Alright, maybe that was a bad idea. No, no, no!